I do solemnly swear
I, Jeanine Pirro, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I take this obligation freely,
and that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
and
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
of
the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our We will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Yeah, buddy, they got them shaking in their shoes. It's time. Y'all, yeah, Miss Jeanine Pirro, let's do it. This right here gonna give you some chills. What's going on, family? Hope y'all having a great night now. Great week. It's almost Friday. We almost to that weekend, man. We just trying to make it by. We just trying to survive. In this corrupt scam matrix, man. It's one love to the human race. Put a smile on your face. Woo!
And thank you, Madam Attorney General, both my friends for many years. Long ago, I went to law school to study about justice and to bring justice to victims of violent crimes, women, children, and the elderly. I fought to give them a voice in a system that was both blind and deaf to their concerns. I dedicated my heart and soul to making sure that there was a system that responded to them. My profile and my prosecutorial successes garnered public attention, and my life took unexpected turns. Through all of this, President Trump, you have remained as steadfast as one of my earliest supporters and champions. You never wavered. You were always steadfast, trustworthy, and confident. Today, Mr. President, you bring me back to my roots. And it is a larger arena, but no less an arena where we need justice, where we need to send a message that justice will be honored in the District of Columbia. And just last week, here in our nation's capital, two people on the brink of beginning their life had hopes and dreams that were never realized because a cold-blooded murderer made a decision to shoot them down on the streets on a cold, rainy night in our nation's capital. This will not go without just accounting. My voice should be heard loud and clear. No more tolerance of hatred, no more mercy for criminals. Violence will be addressed directly with the appropriate punishment. And this city will again become a shining city on a hill in an America that President Trump has promised to make great again and will make safe again. Mr. President, America thanks you, and I thank you.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. DC cuck Republicans linked arms with Democrats in order to block President Trump's selection for federal prosecutor in Washington, D.C. This is, of course, somebody who could prosecute all sorts of federal crimes, ranging from January 6th to Fednapping to COVID cover-up and so on. They were able to torpedo Eagle Ed Martin, who's an awesome man and lawyer, an excellent prosecutor who was really digging into the crimes of the deep state. He's now moved over to the DOJ, so they didn't actually get rid of him. He has a very powerful position there. But what they did get was Jeanine Pirro. Jeanine Pirro was just sworn in at the White House.
Oh, boy.
This is a lady who is quite a battle axe and very good at media and very much has a chip on her shoulder and is a strong ally of President Trump, probably one of the strongest allies of President Trump that exists. She doesn't have anyone to please. She's been doing this job for a long time, and she took the oath of office to serve as the interim U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C. just minutes ago in an Oval Office ceremony. President Trump was there. He was smiling, overseeing all of it. And then President Trump was kicking ass afterwards in a flamethrower of a little press conference. But it's Judge Jeanine's first actions as district attorney that should strike fear into the heart of all of the deep state criminals. Oh, man. This is going to get cooked. Judge Jeanine declaring that it is now time for law and order and for the arrest of criminals inside of our government. Judge Jeanine, no more mercy for criminals. We're going to send a message. There will be no tolerance, no mercy. Violence will be addressed with appropriate punishment. Judge Jeanine is already talking about bringing back the first execution in D.C. and the death penalty. Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Madam Attorney General, both my friends, to study women, children, and the elderly. I fought to give them a voice in a system that was both blind and deaf to their concerns. It's a system that responded to them. My profile and my prosecutorial successes garnered public attention, and my life took unexpected turns. As one of my earliest supporters and champions, and confident. Today, Mr. President, you bring me back to my roots. And it is a larger arena, but no less an arena where we need justice, where we need to send a message that justice will be honored in the District of Columbia. People on the brink of beginning their life had hopes and dreams that were never realized because a cold-blooded murderer made a decision to shoot them down on the streets on a cold, rainy night in our nation's capital. This will not go without just accounting. No more tolerance of hatred, no more mercy for criminals. Violence will be addressed directly with the appropriate punishment.
Ow.
And this city will again become a shining city on a hill in an America that President Trump has promised to make great again and will make safe again. Mr. President, America thanks you, and I thank you.
Right? Money talks, bullshit walks. What are the initial actions of Judge Jeanine here at this position? Well, she's begun to talk about the death penalty in Washington, D.C., something that we haven't seen in a very long time. The DOJ has brought back the death penalty, and as D.C. is essentially a federal subsidiary, the death penalty will then be brought back to Washington, D.C. Well, that's good. Death penalty for traitors? It's in the Constitution. And here's what we now know. That the staffers who were using Joe Biden's autopen to illegally sign documents, forging his name, have been identified, according to whistleblowers in Congress. Ed Martin, who was already looking into this, now from the DOJ position, which arguably you could say is even stronger, more powerful position, who do you think the senior Democrat officials are? Ed is naming people who worked on the 2020 Biden campaign. Ron Klain, Anita Dunn, Bob Bauer. Anita Dunn is an evil, evil, vicious communist. He's saying that we know Ed Martin sent letters to the U.S. Attorney's Office. The Biden family, he says people need to start lawyering up. Trump administration official reveals the extremist Democrat who controlled Biden's autopen, saying that Elizabeth Warren, he has proof that Elizabeth Warren was signing many of these documents herself. Shh, don't tell Joe. Pocahontas had the autopen. And in a newly released video from Project Veritas, David Hogg has now revealed that Jill Biden's chief of staff, Anthony Bernal, secretly ran the Biden White House in bombshell footage. It was an open secret. I would avoid him. He's scary, shadowy Wizard of Oz type figure. He wielded an enormous amount of power. And he ran the autopen. Uh-oh. Scary stuff. So
I want to see arrests, man.
Investigated. And now it turns out they will be investigated by Judge Jeanine. Take a guess who gets to deliver the subpoenas. Judge Jeanine. Biden officials called for interview before House Committee and Oversight. Judge Jeanine would also, of course, be in charge of prosecuting those who don't show up to Congress, much like they did to Steve Bannon or to Peter Navarro. So this is a very interesting little turn of events, and Judge Jeanine is getting off on a right foot. Now, Donald Trump is certainly somebody who got off, let's just say, at this press conference, and he's somebody who was making a lot of news. Like, for instance, the Gretchen Whitmer Fednapping incident. Gretchen Whitmer Fednapping is when the FBI staged a fake kidnapping of Gretchen Whitmer and then locked up a couple of bozos in Michigan. These guys legitimately did nothing wrong. They were entrapped by every letter of the law, and President Trump made a lot of news by saying, hey, I'm not going to allow that.
Will you pardon the people who are accused of conspiring to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer?
I'm going to look at it. I will take a look at it. It's been brought to my attention. I did watch the trial. It looked to me like somewhat of a railroad job. I'll be honest with you. It looked to me like some people said some stupid things. You know, they were drinking, and I think they said stupid things. But I'll take a look at that. And a lot of people are asking me that question from both sides, actually. A lot of people think they got railroaded. A lot of people think they got railroaded, and probably some people don't. One more.
And Donald Trump took another question on Harvard, and it went like this.
But they're working with us on finding a solution, and, you know, they're taking off that hot seat. But Harvard wants to fight. They want to show how smart they are, and they're getting their ass kicked. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
That's our president, man. Goddamn right.
A sign of things
That's
to come.
damn right.
With how President Trump is going to be treating law and order in this country. Harvard's getting their asses kicked. So let's go right over to the first order of business for Judge Jeanine to issue subpoenas to the dirty communists running the Biden White House, including Joe Biden's doctor. Here's the reporting from Fox News, and make sure that you subscribe.
At the end of his presidency, he was more active in the last 90 days than he was the first 3.5 years. They signed a lot of executive orders. They issued a lot of pardons, and
James, we doing all this talking. I'm ready to see some arrests, James. Come on, I'm ready. Hey, brother, I'm ready. I am ready. Me and them Patriots are ready. We hope we wake up, you know, praying and just hoping we look on our phones or cellular devices, on social media, on TV, that somebody's being walked out in handcuffs.
All of these were signed with the autopen. We want to know who was in control of the autopen and what authority they had to use the autopen in the president's name.
House Oversight Chairman James Comer there, and Republicans now are zeroing in on former President Biden's use of an autopen to sign official documents during his term. It's all part of the investigation into an apparent cover-up
what a disgrace
for Joe Biden and several key staffers. They may all face subpoenas if they do not comply by tomorrow. So now there's a deadline to this. So there's a ramp up now by Republicans. In a social media post, President Trump wrote, "Whoever had control of the autopen is looking to be a bigger and bigger scandal by the moment." Aisha Hasni reporting in Washington. Aisha.
Hey, good morning to you, Harris. So that's right. Oversight Committee Chairman Comer tells me that his committee is ready to drop those subpoenas within minutes if former President Biden's doctor and those 4 other staffers do not respond to his request for an interview by tomorrow's deadline. Comer is also telling me that he's willing to expand those summons to include former First Lady Jill Biden, their son, Hunter Biden, and former Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, if that is where the committee's investigation leads them.
Obviously, we're interested in the Jean-Pierre. We're interested in people like Ian Sams. We're also interested in Jill Biden and Hunter Biden. So, but first step is bring these lower level employees in. We believe these employees that most people have never heard of had a huge amount of influence in the use of the autopen.
So several folks from Biden's Oval Office inner circle have stayed quiet amid the cover-up allegations, but they're still active out there. Ron Klain is now Airbnb's chief legal officer. Anita Dunn now works with the super PAC Future Forward. Mike Donnellan
We ready to see handcuffs. Put your hands behind your back.